What up, y'all? This your boy T-Mac, and yes, indeed, you're listening to my man, my favorite Scoop B Radio. Yes, indeed.
My brother. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1. You know who we are. Tracy McGrady here. Brandon Scoopy Robinson here, Scoopy Radio. We are in there like swimwear. T-Mac, you got a documentary that begins July 28th. First and foremost, how are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm doing well. Just come off a lavish vacation with the fam in Bora Bora. I'm feeling pretty damn good, man.
Listen, man, Bora Bora, what is one to do in Bora Bora?
One is to enjoy the scenery and be pampered by the amazing customer service that they give you over there. I mean, the best ever. If you haven't been, bro, go. Make sure you go to the Four Seasons.
Okay. If I'm going to tell them T-Mac sent you. They'll leave the light on for you.
Tell them. I'll pick up the phone and call him. My man Scoop B coming.
There you go. All right. So tell me something. You have a documentary basically looking back at OBL. It premiered July 28th. And essentially, you look back at what you did last year. How difficult a task was that to get off the ground?
It was difficult because one of the hardest things to do is really, formulate your team. You got to find people around you that have a winning mindset, that really believes and truly, authentically believes in your vision. So that was probably one of the hardest things to do. But as far as the concept and putting that structure in that, I've already had that in mind for quite some time, and we just put that on paper and brought it to life. But finding a team that believes in your vision and truly wants you to win and wants to win themselves, that was tough.
Yeah, well, those who are paying attention, those that matter, you all matter, of course, but OBL, Bonded by Ball, is the wave. Make sure to check that out. Available on demand, on streaming for Paramount Plus with Showtime. It began July 28th. You don't want to miss that because Tracy McGrady knows ball.
Yeah, it's a platform that I created, man, for guys that probably won't never make an NBA roster. Some of the guys probably will make a G League team if given the opportunity. But when you look at it, there's a lot of players, a lot of untapped talent that is out here. You look at your James Hardens, the Kyries, the Devin Bookers, KDs. It's guys out here with similar skill set that are not on NBA rosters. I want to identify these guys and highlight who they are, highlight their skill set, and OBL is the platform for them. Partnering with Showtime and documenting everything last season and putting that in a 4-part series is going to tell you everything you need to know about OBL in the direction we're going with one-on-one basketball.
My fellow Gemini May baby, I got a question. Did you ever buy the smoke that James Harden would find his way to the Houston Rockets?
No, it didn't make basketball sense. And, I know James wants to win a championship. Coming to Houston, that is not going to win you a championship. Him getting out of Philly, again, I've said this and this is on record, I really don't understand it because you are a championship contending team with playing alongside an MVP of last year's season. However, with him wanting to get out of that situation, there has to be something we don't know about. Because, again, it doesn't make basketball sense.
Dillon Brooks is in Houston. You'd be the perfect person to ask this for this reason. A lot of people made a lot about what happened with LeBron and Dillon Brooks in the playoffs. Is there really such a thing, either in your playing career or even from when you hear now, of making the top player, in this case, LeBron James, so mad that you're blackballed, or is that more media fodder?
That's fans and media. I'm a fan of Dillon Brooks, and here is why. If Dillon Brooks doesn't play the way he plays, if Dillon Brooks, now some of the antics, I could do without, but I'm talking about from a competitive standpoint. If he doesn't do some of the things that he did last year, going at LeBron, who's the best player, we're not talking about Dylan Brooks, bro. No one is talking about Dylan Brooks, right? He's just another player that's in the NBA that's on somebody's roster that people are overlooking. He's made a name for himself, whether it's good or bad. People are talking about him. And in essence, that man signed an $80 million contract. So whatever he did, it worked for him. Good for him. All the backlash and all this stuff people were talking about, man, listen, y'all wouldn't know who Dylan Brooks was if he wasn't, competing and going at LeBron that way. So he did his job. He got an $80 million deal out of the shit he did last season.
Speaking of shit, I got a question. I've heard stories from people who have said that Michael Jordan is very chatty on the court. I've heard a story about how one time apparently somebody was wearing his shoes on the court and he was torching Michael on the court, and he said, you talk a lot of shit on the court for somebody who wears my sneakers. You have shared an all-star court bench with Michael. In your good grace, can you share a story of how much sugar honey iced tea Michael may talk?
So yeah, I think my last year of MJ, not my last year, but my first year, my rookie year, it was his last year with the Bulls. So I can't remember anything at that time. It's too young. I don't remember Mike talking any trash. We wasn't a very good team, so I'm sure he was like, there's no need to even waste my trash talking on this sorry ass team. I don't recall him talking any trash with the Wizards. So I didn't have any run-ins. All-Star Weekend, of course, Mike talked shit because we all there together. There was a lot of locker room, sidebar conversations and chatting about certain things, but I can't really pinpoint of what those conversations were about. But you hear the chatter with Mike and him talking shit to guys.
Diplomatic and honest. A couple more questions. Victor Wembanyama is becoming, in some people's the face, and people are building that case. When I look at Victor, there are things that remind me of a multitude of players. You've gone on record to talk about Victor, and you said you've seen it before. I see KD, I see Giannis, but I also see parts of LeBron, but I also see parts of you. Do you see you in Wembanyama?
No. I would say this about the kid. He has great talent, to be his size. But also, Bol has similar talent, right? That's why I said I've seen this. Bol has similar skill set to what Victor is. It's just he's not going to get the opportunity that Victor is going to get. However, the hype around this kid is too much for me. And I'm not saying it because he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying, let's let this kid develop and see what he's going to be. Y'all talking about the greatest player of all time and this and that. Come on, we got to chill out with that, man. We don't know what this kid is going to be. I do know he's going to be well prepared. He's going to get the best advice that he possibly can get from anybody because he's surrounded by greatness. Greg Popovich, Tim Duncan, David Robinson. So in that sense, he's going to be prepared for anything that he's about to endure. But let it play out, man. We don't know how great this kid is going to be. We just don't know. This is the NBA, bro. He's going up against some dogs out here that is looking at that and is going to take offense to that. You know what I'm saying? By him coming over from France and you think he's going to be the top dog, there's going to be some guys here on this soil that's going to challenge that. So let's just let it play out. I think it's too much.
Last question. I am a fan of hip hop, just like I'm a fan of wrestling. In your space, you are a commentator. A lot of your peers that you played with are commentators, and you've seen a lot of layoffs more recently with places like ESPN. I say that to say this. Because there's been so many layoffs with ESPN, do you feel like the flip flop with guys who were once at ESPN could now become NWO and or Cash Money when people sign with them later on? Do you see a parallel between people like Jalen Rose and some of the other people, Paul Pierce, going to Fox 1 and vice versa, even Shannon Sharpe and ESPN? Do you see a similarity between that wrestling parody and that Cash Money reference that I made?
I think we're in an era of podcasts, right? Wouldn't it be, you've had the experience of working for a network. I would think because these guys are so great at their craft and what they do, I would think for them to start their own show, wouldn't that be, and can talk about, anything, not just sports, but politics and everything, and don't really be put in a box to talk about specifics. That's what I would think would be the next move, especially somebody like Jalen Rose. He's so well versed. Why go work for another network? Just create your own. You have a great fan base because people appreciate your opinion. You're very opinionated and you're honest and authentic. So start your own.
Would you pay money? Nas made a song called "If I Ruled the World." If you ruled the world for a day, would you pay money to see Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith yell all damn day?
I would, yeah. I mean, but for how long though? You know what I mean? Like I don't know how long I would want to watch that because I think it'll get too repetitive. So I don't know because they're talking about just sports, right? Whereas Shannon Sharpe is well versed. Shannon Sharpe could talk about a multitude of topics, not just sports.
You answered every one of my daggone questions, brother. You good in my book. Make sure you guys check out Bonded by Ball on Showtime and all their platforms. Brother, thank you for your time as always.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Always good to see you.
My man. I'll talk to you soon.